Hello, my name is Vanessa Jackson. I'm the Clinical Director for Adjuvant Behavioral Health, and today we're going to cover part 2 of our AMD training module. In this presentation, we're going to cover client notes, choosing different templates, problem lists, assigning notes and charge slips, accessing the telehealth module, messaging the client, and assigning homework. We recommend that in this video, as we go through it, there will be sections where you're able to pause and try it out for yourself. Take advantage of this feature, give it a shot, and let us know if you have any questions as you go. Also, plan on referring to this video as needed when you have questions in the future. The first thing we're going to cover are client notes. So client notes are something that can be preloaded when you are setting up your session for the following day. You go to your dashboard, and as you remember, on the dashboard on the far left-hand side is the calendar view. You're going to see all the sessions that you have for that date. Provided you have tomorrow's date selected on the top left-hand corner, you will see tomorrow's notes. You can select the note that you would like, or the appointment you'd like to create a note for. A menu will pop up that looks kind of like what you see here on the far right-hand side, and you're going to select patient note. From there, you're then going to have the patient note open. There are multiple tabs within that note: info, note, subnote, and narrative. The info tab is where the initial appointment information is listed. The template is the section. You hit the drop-down arrow next to it, and you're going to be able to select the template of your choice, and we'll cover that a little bit further later on in this training. Make sure the template type says Adjuvant Behavioral Health. The date, you're going to select the proper date and time for the appointment. As you can see from the little drop-down menu, I've created a little arrow. What that looks like when you select that little calendar view. You select the proper date. It's got these little gears that you can move up and down to select the correct time. And then time elapsed. You are not going to know how much time has elapsed until after that appointment is completed. However, on the bottom of the screen, I've given you sort of a cheat sheet section for like 90832. That session needs to remain between 16 to 37 minutes. A 90834 needs to be 38 to 52 minutes. That's our general 45-minute session, and so on. So when you go in that, the most, if you have a 45-minute session set, time that can elapse is going to be 52 minutes. On the following tab, the note tab, that's where you take the notes during that session. There are multiple versions of this, and depending on the template, you'll get different ones that pop up. The template example you see here is what an intake note looks like. You would fill in all those fields, and it's from that then those client session notes are generated. All the auto fields and things will fill in for you, and then you're only needing to fill in the information that's new for that particular day. Go ahead and check that out and see if it works. Choosing different templates. So this is the piece I was talking about. When you open up that info tab and you select that template, the top right-hand corner is what the pop-up module looks like. You're going to select from that, depending on what type of appointment you're going to have. The four most common that you're going to see are the psychotherapy intake note, treatment plan, psychotherapy progress note, and process note. Other ones that you will commonly use would be things like the safety plan, living plan, treatment plan, and then termination note, things like that. Go ahead and play with that and see if it looks the way you're expecting it to look. The problem list is something that you're going to use. Essentially, it should autofill. When you create a diagnosis for your client, the problem list should autofill from that. However, sometimes it does not. If it does not, it just gives you an extra step when you're doing your, when you're signing your notes or when you're doing your charge slip at the end of the session. So if it doesn't autofill, you're going to open up that problems tab. You're going to select the green plus sign, and then you're going to enter in those diagnoses. And this will make it a lot easier for you with all those notes moving forward. See if you can find that and make sure it works the way that you think it's going to. And if it doesn't, reach out to one of us and we'll walk you through it. So the next thing we're going to work on is signing notes and charge slips. So at the end of a session, you're going to want to sign those session notes. However, once they are signed, you cannot edit or delete. So you want to make certain that those are completely finalized and you like the way they look before you sign them. After you sign it, within that same tab, you're then going to select Add Linked. A drop-down menu appears. It kind of looks like this one on the top in the middle on the screen. And you're going to select Charge Slip Pre-Filled. What's going to pop up from that is the bottom tab example that you're looking at. And everything sort of is pre-filled, all the information about the client. And then you're going to select the charge slip tab within that. Once that opens up, you're then going to select procedure, and you're going to use the modifier 95. As you can see here in this corner, it's got modified 95 and then POS 02, which stands for telehealth. Those two things tell us how to charge it. Down here is where the diagnosis goes, and this is something to be looking for right below that. If you have a Z code before the F code, these will drag and drop. There's only one sitting here for this particular client, but if they had 3 or 4, you'd see them all in a row. And you can grab those and drag them around and play with it as needed. So the other thing, and this was something I was not really taught how to do myself, is how to double check that I've signed all my notes and I've signed my chart and I've created those charge slips and signed those. At the end of the day, if you want to go back, kind of a snapshot of, did I sign everything? Is everything complete? You're going to go to your home page. You're going to go onto the dashboard. You're going to select home and provider list view. What opens up is this little print screen here at the bottom. We've got the times of the appointments, the patient's name, how long was the appointment, and you scroll down and it says charge slip and note status. And you check to make certain that both say signed for all clients for that day. If they're not, and they say something like saved instead, you now need to go back into that client note and sign, and then you can go back here and check it again to make sure that it is completed. Go ahead and try that out and see if it works. So the next thing we're going to do is the telehealth module. With every session that you set, they're on the calendar, you're ready to go, the notes are preloaded. Now, how do you actually meet that client online? What you're going to do to meet that client online is you're going to go to that main dashboard. You're going to select module and then select telemedicine. Once you select telemedicine, what's going to pop up is that provider list view, the same thing we were just looking at a second ago to see if the notes are signed. And you're going to make certain, check something first, because this will be a problem sometimes, is if multiple providers show up here, you're going to want to make sure and click that little X next to their name to make sure only your name is there, right? And then when you do that, everything pops up and you're going to select this little video icon and the video session will start. Take a look at that, make certain it works the way you think it's going to, and if you have any questions, reach out to us. Okay, so the last thing has to do with messaging the client. This is similar to email, except it only exists within the AMD system. To message the client from that main dashboard, you remember on the left-hand side, it's the calendar. Then in the middle, we've got those donuts. And the far right-hand side, whatever donut selected will pop up in that area. In those donuts, you're going to select messages. When the messages is selected, this is what pops up. And you're going to select new message, message portal. You're going to type in the patient's name, make sure patient is selected, and you're going to message and type in the information, then select send. It's that simple. Check it out and see if it works and let us know if you have any questions. Okay, so the last part is the patient portal to this. So when we're walking that client through, one of the things we're going to need to do is to kind of know what is it that they're seeing on their end. And we want you to understand that the homework section, because we're going to be assigning homework to our clients periodically, we had to create a workaround. This is not the way it will typically be done, and we thank you so much for your patience, but this is something we're doing right now just to make certain we can get them that information. The AMD system is partially where we want it, but not fully. So in order to give our clients homework, you're going to have to use your Gmail account to email. However, all therapist-patient communication will need to utilize the patient portal. So if you're talking to your client, scheduling the client, anything where they're going to have to communicate back, you want to use this patient portal instead. If patients contact you through Gmail, kindly tell them that all communication needs to come through the patient portal and how to do it. And of course, we will have further training to provide, learning how to download worksheets from the Google Drive to email them to the patients, so on and so forth, using your Advent Google email. And again, this is different from the system we will be using long-term. We thank you for your patience. So the patient portal, once the client has completed the intake form, As you can see on the left-hand side, I included a sample of what that intake form looks like from our website. And they've been established as a patient with Adjuvant, they'll receive an email to set up their patient portal. If the client says they have no access to their account, they can contact us via email. They can contact us via email to reset if needed. So admin@adjuvantbh.com or 1-866-912-2746. The directions are to log in, select messages. Super simple. Email notifications are sent to the client, and this is a sample of what it looks like in their email. I've used Jenny Espiaga as a sample for you. So when that email is sent, it looks like this. They're going to simply open it up, and they're going to select View Message. Messages sent to the client from the portal look like this. So when they open up the email, it's going to literally look like this: subject, patient, what their name is, and what is the message. And then they can select to ask a question. They can reply. They can go to their inbox and view all messages from here, or they can just delete it. Play around with that and see if you understand. Let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything we can clarify to help you communicate this to the client. Lastly, if you get stuck, reach out to us for help. So my information has been listed there, as well as the Texas Pod 1 group email and the Texas Pod chat. Those are 2 locations for you to be able to access the team and ask questions. If you have a question about something, chances are someone else has also, and you can help them and they can help you through this process. Thank you so much for your time, and please let us know if you have any questions.